Everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. So today we'll be starting with economics and we'll be doing the topic regression analysis. So what is regression analysis? In regression analysis, our first topic of discussion is what is forecasting. Forecasting in layman terms, we say forecasting is to predict what will happen in the future. Basically, it's a tool used for predicting used for predicting future outcomes based on past data. For example, we have a graph. This is your x-axis, this is your y-axis. We have 1 point here, 1 point here, 1 point here, and 1 point here. So this is basically a best fit line or the line that has minimum distance from all the points. So now if I have to predict, suppose this is till 2015. So now I have to check for 2016. What I can do is I can check for the slope of the graph. And based on the equation, suppose y is equal to ax plus b, by putting the value of x and placing the values of slope and intercept, we can get the value for 2016. So this is basically you forecast or predicted the demand in the year of 2016. Now let's see types of forecasting methods. Types of forecasting methods. So basically there are two methods. First is qualitative. Qualitative, and second is your quantitative. By qualitative, we rely on subjective opinion of one or more experts. Whereas in quantitative method, we rely on data and other techniques. We don't, it is not dependent on anyone's or any expert's opinion. In quantitative, we only rely on data and actual proofs. So next, when we talk of quantitative forecasting, we have a time series model and associative models. In associative models, we have linear regression. In time series models, we have trend projection method, exponential smoothing method, and moving average. We'll be covering all of them. So now, let's understand what is linear regression. We'll be talking about this in today's class. So linear regression basically referring to Gujarati and Porter in 2010, linear regression is based on first fitting straight line to data and explaining the change in one variable through changes in the other. And linear regression can be expressed in the form of y is equal to a plus bx, where y is the dependent variable and it's dependent on what? X. A is the vertical intercept. B is your slope. By slope, we also refer to as marginal change. In any question that you are given, if you are asked, what is the marginal change in demand when the price increases by so and so? So you have to basically calculate the slope. First, you'll calculate the regression equation, and then you will say that this slope m is the basically the marginal change. And x is your independent variable that does not depend on any of them. Now, what is scatter plot? Let's see. Scatter plot. Scatter plot refers to A plot that assesses association between two variables. Like let's say we have ads and sales. So we can see that advertisement comes on the x-axis and sales come on the y-axis. We can see that they increase in an increasing manner. Not all points will be there on the best fit line. Now, basically, it is a task of fitting a line through a scatter plot of cases that best fits the data. Best fits, fits the data. I was saying best fit line. Best fit line means choosing values of regression parameters by minimizing the sum of squared vertical deviations between the actual values of the dependent variable and the fitted variables. Now we'll be seeing this using OLS method. OLS method is full form is ordinary least squares method, or you can say criteria. So now using OLS method, the derivation I'll not be covering here. There is one derivation also. I'll straight be coming to general equations. So regression equations. Mostly your equations derivation is not asked. Only application based numericals are asked. So first of all, it is summation y is equal to na plus b summation x. Summation xy is equal to a summation x plus b summation x square. I is equal to 1 to n. I is equal to 1 to n. I is equal to 1 to n. So these are the two regression equations that you all have to remember when solving any question from regression analysis. Now I remember it without the summation signs, like y is equal to na plus bx, then x comes down x, y from here y is equal to a from here x plus b, x already here, so just double it, x square. So in this way. So next, now let us try to solve an example. I'll be taking a general example as of now. Later on, you can solve questions on them on your own. So let's see an example. First, we have week and food demand. I'll be drawing a smaller table. So I have week and food demand. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 weeks. 59.4. 86.7, 74, 80.2. So now we have to identify which is our, so question is find the regression line for the given data. Regression line for the given data. So what will we do is first step, right on step 1. Identify your independent and dependent variable. So we saw y is equal to ax plus b. X is independent but Y is dependent. So now week does not depend on the food demand. Like if food demand increases, that does not mean that the week also increases. But we can say it in vice versa. So Y is dependent, food demand. As per the week goes, the food demand can increase. Suppose people mostly go grocery shopping at the first day of the month. So that time food demand increases, and similarly on week number 4 mostly the food demand will be less because food demand is only mostly active at the first week of the month. So that is what I mean to say by dependent and independent. So after that, when we identify X and Y, then we step to draw table. Draw table. So let's see the table, how to make the table. So when you are making the table, you have to make a table like this. You will clearly mention what is here week X, food demand Y. Now, when you calculate, you have to write all the values here. Yes. So now week 1, 2, 3, 4. Food demand, we'll write it because I don't remember the values. So we'll write it 59.4, 86.7, 74, 80.2. So now, when we have to solve the regression equations, let's write it here. We need y is equal to na plus bx, y is equal to ax plus bx square. What all summation we need? Y, x. That I have. X, y, and x and x square. X, y and x square are not there. Summation of v x will be 4 plus 3, 7, 7 plus 2, 9 and 10. Then summation of y we can calculate. Then summation of x square. For that 1, 4, 9, 16. And we'll calculate the summation x square. And then we'll calculate xy. And then we'll solve summation xy. Then when we find the values, let's suppose we assume that some values. So let's assume that summation x is 55, summation y is 909.2, summation x square is equal to 385, and summation xy is equal to 5582.5. And we will assume that the values, there are 10 values. Like in our table, we had 1, 2, 3, and 4. So n will be 4. But we are taking it as 10 for the time being. So now I'll not be writing summation 1, 2, and again. So you will have to mention that because marks can be deducted based on that. So first equation, summation y is equal to na plus b summation x. Summation xy is equal to a summation x plus b summation x square. So now summation y 909.2 is equal to n 10a plus 55b. This is the first equation. Second equation is 55a plus 385b is equal to 5582.5. On solving these two equations, we solve for a and b and get the value of a as 52.12 and value of b as 7.05. Now, we will write the value of straight line as y is equal to a plus bx. A value is 52.12 plus b is 7.05 x. Now, after that, if your question asks, let's see, if your question says, what is the average growth rate of, we took here week and food demands of food per week. What is it saying? Average growth rate. At what rate it is increasing? 1x, 2x, 3x, 4x, and so on. So at what rate? That means we have to give the slope. Slope is basically what? Your marginal change. Change means the rate at which growth rate or the rate at which something is increasing or decreasing. That is defined by the slope. If a slope is positive, that means it's a linear graph like this. So similarly, that will be the slope. M is equal to, in the last question we wrote it as I think 7.05 as far as I remember. So the answer will be 7.05. Now similarly, these type of questions will be asked, and let's say now we have a question, some questions which you have to attempt. First question says D is equal to homework question 1. D is equal to 45 minus 25 P demand price. And your demand and price are, if demand increases, price often decreases. So what is this 25 representing? Representing y is equal to a plus bx. What is y representing? You write the answer. Question number 2. In y is equal to a plus bx, if b is equal to 0, that means y is equal to a. Is that right? So can y start from origin? I want your thoughts on this question in the comment section. Rest, thank you for watching. If you have any doubts and if you want to answer any answers to these homework questions, and do answer these question 1 and question 2 and write your answer down in the comment section. So thank you. Have a great day. Bye bye. If you like the video, do like, share, comment, and subscribe to this channel. Bye bye.